Daryl Acumen. I'm Senior Manager of Digital Analytics for Hewlett-Packard, and I'm standing here as a candidate for Vice Chair. Back in 2002, in a hallway back in DC, I bumped into a guy named Josh James. We got to talking, and after a while, he looked at me and he says, "You know, you're a smart guy. Would you consider moving to Utah and looking for me?" And I said, "You know, Josh, I like Utah. Nice mountains, nice people. I could do that." And he kind of gave me a sideways glance, and he said, "What do you know about Mormons?" I said, "What's a Mormon?" He said, "You're hired." I've been a resident of Utah County now for 11 years. I've been a Republican for 25, and I'm proud to vote. But to help you understand why, I have to take you back 100 years to the First World War, to a young Army lieutenant from England who traveled to the Middle East, and with the mission of trying to convince the Bedouin tribes there to revolt against the Ottoman Turks who were supporting the Germans. When the war was over, he returned to England, settled into an uneasy retirement, and began work on his memoirs, which he modestly entitled The 7 Pillars of Wisdom. And in the introduction to that work, he tried to explain what motivated him to change the course of history. And he explained it this way. He said, "All men dream." Remember, this is 100 years ago. "All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their minds wake in the day to discover that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act on their dreams with open eyes and see them become real. Ladies and gentlemen of the Utah Republican Party, we are the most dangerous men and women on earth because we share a dream that's too exciting, too important to remain in the realm of fantasy. A dream of a nation that finally lives up to the promise of the vision of its founders, that's governed by the letter and the spirit of its founding documents, where the value of a human being is measured not just by the content of their character, but by the value they create for their fellow men, where our leaders are judged by their actions, not by their intentions, and where kids don't have to look in history books or wait for an annual pep talk from the president to find the greatness of America, because it's in the deeds and the actions of men and women in their community. Now, how do we achieve our dream? There are a couple of things I'm passionate about and I want to share with you. The first is this: we need to stop demonizing each other. Now, I was born in DC, I grew up in Maryland. By the way, thank you for that beautiful, moving tribute to Baltimore earlier. But I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm black, my whole family's black, and that means they're all Republicans, or they're all Democrats. I grew up with Democrats. I've been outnumbered my entire life. Let me tell you something. I know who the enemy is. And sorry, I don't know why I'm missing. They're not in this party. They're not in this room. The enemy, ladies and gentlemen, is Barack Obama. It's Jim Matheson. It's liberal economists like Robert Reich and cult leaders like Louis Farrakhan. I've been dealing with this my entire life, but I think here in Utah County, because the Democrats are so underfoot, we tend to forget who the enemy is and we look at each other instead. Now, the second thing I'm passionate about is protecting our caucus system and the way that we elect our elected officials. And to express why, let me share an anecdote with you. There's a couple old codgers out in Hebron. They're sitting in a cabin, they're on the porch there, and there's an old hound dog at their feet. And he's just howling at the wind. Ow! Ow! The first old codger looks at the second and he says, "What's wrong with your dog?" The second looks back and says, "Oh, ain't nothing wrong with him, he's just a laying on the nail." The first one looks back and goes, "Well, why don't he get up?" And the second looks back and goes, "Well, it don't hurt enough for him to get up off it, it just hurts enough for him to complain about it." Sometimes I feel some of the folks who are agitating for changes to our caucus system are basically just laying on a nail. If you don't feel that your voice is being heard, get up. Get out to the caucus every 2 years and speak up. Now, Pat Holman is a terrific man. I support him. I think he's wonderful. I'd be proud to support him as chair. But I'll tell you, it's not really important which one of us you choose right now. What's important is that every morning you get up and you continue to work. And by work, I mean you labor. Day after day, hour after hour, you toil in the service of the dream we all share until we can touch it with our hands and see it with our eyes. And we commit to each other that we will continue to live dangerously. Thank you. Aloha. I love that. Those of you who don't know me, I hold the degrees in computer science, computer information systems, and an MBA. I have spent my career managing large teams and projects for Daryl, West Software, FamilySearch.org. I have a wife and 6 children, and I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Republican. I am white, middle-aged Republican, and so the Democrats and radical left have labeled me intolerant. But that's not true. This is what we have all been tolerating. We tolerate a nonpartisan state school board that is 70% Democrat. With local school boards hold very little power. We tolerate a Democrat, Jim Matheson, to represent the most Republican county in the most Republican state. We tolerate a constant erosion of morality and the family through the courts, legislation, and the press. As a manager, I have always focused on results. I do not care about a plan. I only care about the results of a plan. When a plan or process is put into a binder and seldom referred to, it is wasted effort. I call this binder management. That is when a nice document is created, one that everyone feels good about, and then it's put on the shelf. The Democrats and the left are agenda-driven. They are moving on all fronts, the courts, legislation, and the press. Choose a hot-button issue from the left, any one of them: education, immigration, Second Amendment rights. Rest assured that there is an organization, a plan in place for every one of these issues. They want to change our laws and the hearts and the minds of our children and change you and me. The opposition is relentless. What is the response from the most Republican county in the most Republican state? Think about that for a minute. What do you do? What does your district do? What does your precinct do? Do you do what most people do? Vote? The common response is to simply vote. Let's be honest, that used to be enough. When we won by simply voting, it so angered the left that they changed the way they did business. Now it's time for us to change. The old way does not work anymore. We cannot simply vote. Now we need to change the way we do business. We need to stop being tolerant of diminishing GOP values. Are we more tolerant and agenda-driven? Once we adopt our Utah County platform, what happens then? Are there platform champions? Are there champions for every plank in that platform? Do we have platform lobbyists? I have an idea. What do you think about flexing the muscles of the most Republican county in the most Republican state? Do you think we can do more than we are doing? I own a marketing firm, and we get press releases from the city of Miami whenever they hold a conference or host a conference. I get press releases from pro wrestlers when they help out at the Children's Center. I also get a lot of press releases from liberals and Democrats for every cause in the book. They meet often, they plan often, and work action plans, and we vote. We are the Utah County GOP. As vice chair, I want to make our platform an agenda-driven platform. We need to do more. We need coordinated efforts. We need Utah County GOP teams that feed the press our views. We need Utah County GOP lobbyists for every plank in our platform. We need GOP press conferences at most events. We need educators, blogs, workshops, and speakers. Elect me as your vice chair, and let's have
an agenda-driven platform.